We open with a montage set to a song called After You Get What You Want, You Don't Want It, which is this really clever song. And it essentially really just, says exactly that. You sort of wish and want for things, and once you get it, you want something else. And it's a good way to sort of illustrate where everybody is at the beginning of the season. We sort of explore that theme of dissatisfaction throughout the episode, people unhappy with each other, and ultimately comes to a head at the end of the episode.
Mr. Thompson, you're under arrest for election fraud.
When we see the results of that dissatisfaction.
Oh, go let him in. Don't pay to play. Keep your mouth shut and them crates moving.
We knew we wanted to open the episode in a big way with a huge action sequence, which is always, a really great way to grab the audience. And we knew that the revenge from the Klan was something we were going to do, so we said, why not open with that?
Purity, sobriety, and the white Christian's Jesus.
When we started just forming it in our minds, Tim Van Patten came in one day knowing he was going to direct the episode, and Tim also, sits in the writer's room and writes with us as well, and he just got up and performed this entire sequence that you see, and it's several minutes on film, and you have to imagine Tim, and he's a great storyteller, and he's amazingly compelling to watch and a great performer, and he just pitched this whole sequence of, the Klan pulls up and Chalky, and they open the door, and the guy's there, and his throat is slashed, and he falls, and then the guy, and I was breathless and sweating by the end of it, and so was he was exhausted, but it was just like, I went, oh my God, if I can remember everything you said and write that down, let's just film it. And then, of course, was the massive task of shooting this thing. I mean, it's just actual machine guns and shotgun blasts and explosions and glass flying, and just a huge amount of work for our actors and crew and cast. And as they do, they just pulled it off incredibly well. I believe we shot the sequence over several days, but what you see is the result of that, and I think it just came out just terrific.
Have you any champagne? Whiskey, perhaps?
We do, sir.
Nelson.
It's all right, dear.
Everybody, stay seated!
A lot of the raid from Van Alden was really a show he was putting on for his wife. At this point where we picked Van Alden up, the alcohol business is sort of old hat for him, and he knows every restaurant in Atlantic City is serving alcohol, and he's got so much else on his plate, as we come to find out later in the episode, that the idea that some restaurant is selling booze illegally is really not interesting to him. But his wife, of course, is enthralled. For the most part, that whole thing was staged for her benefit, and it was also an opportunity for Van Alden to pick up some pocket money, as we see at the end of the episode, because the money that he confiscates from that restaurant ultimately ends up in his own pocket. The scene on the porch at the Klan funeral is a really pivotal moment for Nucky and Jimmy. I think over the previous several months, there's been an estrangement between these two, and Nucky is savvy enough and knows Jimmy well enough to sense that something is going on, that Jimmy isn't quite happy, and also the idea that Jimmy sort of ran off and got married, and really that came out of the blue. And these are the kinds of things that he normally would have consulted Nucky about in the past, and suddenly there's this divide between the two of them, and Nucky is sensing that.
Is there anything now that you want to say?
What do you mean?
Your father is a very duplicitous man.
His warning to Jimmy that, your father is a very duplicitous man is sort of, telling him, like, you may be hearing some things, and just to remind you, this guy may not have your best interests at heart. It's a very difficult moment for both of them. I think they're both drifting from each other, and Jimmy certainly knows what's on the horizon, and Nucky is suspicious that something might be up too.
You've been told.